You can earn $1,000, $2,000, even $4,000 a month, and still be broke. Because the problem was never just how much you earn, it's what you do with it. The truth is, there are invisible habits you repeat every day, without realizing ... and they're draining your financial freedom. Today I'm going to show you the 5 worst middle-class habits that keep people trapped, in debt, and without progress, even when income increases. And if you're tired of working hard and having little left over, leave a like and subscribe now, because here, every video goes straight to the point, with content most people hide, and subscribers get a real roadmap out of the cycle before anyone else. Now pay attention, because the first habit could be sabotaging your life without you even noticing. Have you noticed how most people live in a financial loop that seems never-ending? Wake up early, work all day, pay bills, buy a few things to feel good. And when the month ends, the money is gone too. And worst, nobody finds this strange. Actually, everyone calls it normal life. The middle class has been trained for this. Study, get a stable job, earn enough to live well, but never get ahead. Because the system doesn't want you to get rich. It wants you to consume. And that's where the problem lies. You might even earn well. You may have a car, apartment, health insurance, good appliances. But if everything you have depends on your next paycheck ... you don't have freedom. You have an invisible leash around your neck. Comfortable, but tight. The hard truth: most middle-class people are just one unexpected event away from financial collapse. And you know what makes it even more dangerous? Unlike extreme poverty, where the problem is obvious, here it seems like there isn't one. You have an income, pay your bills, post travel photos, enjoy your Saturday night wine ... but inside, you feel like you're not building anything solid. And do you know why? Because the stability they sold you is actually a prison disguised as comfort. And if you don't see this now, you could spend 20, 30, even 40 years stuck in this same cycle, thinking you're progressing, when really you're just surviving. Now that you understand the scenario, it's time to expose the first habit that sabotages everything. This is the middle class's first silent financial poison: living on installments, not on assets. The consumer industry did a brilliant job. They taught you that if you can pay the installment, you can buy. But nobody taught you the invisible cost of that. You don't build wealth by putting everything on installments. You just bring pleasure forward and delay your freedom. Every time you pay in installments, you're not just organizing the payment, you're transferring your future to the past. You're saying, I prefer to seem rich than actually be rich. And this habit creates a domino effect. You buy the new phone in 12 installments, the TV in 10, the fridge in 8, the sofa in 18. And before you know it, your entire paycheck is committed before it even lands. You don't live. You survive a pile of monthly bills that only feed the consumption addiction. And you know what's cruelest? Meanwhile, the elite pays up front, negotiates, invests, and multiplies. They don't buy what they can afford monthly. They buy what they can maintain without harming their assets. What a real example. There are people earning $2,000 a month with $0 in the bank. No investments, no emergency fund, no savings, but a new car in the garage and the latest iPhone. Do you know what that's called? Illusion of progress. This behavior is so common, it's become normal. But it's not normal. Installments became the middle-class shortcut to try to live a lifestyle they haven't built yet. But this shortcut has a toll. And the price is your financial peace of mind. And here's a reality check. If everything you have was bought in installments ... then nothing is really yours. You're renting comfort with interest. Is it hard to hear? Yes, but it's necessary. Because as long as you're stuck in installments, assets which really give you security and freedom will never come. Now take a deep breath. Because the next habit is even more dangerous. It doesn't just affect your wallet, it affects your vision of the future. You were taught to work, but nobody taught you why to work. Since you were a kid, they told you, study, get a good job, earn a good salary, and everything will be fine. But they didn't tell you that if you work only for money, you'll spend your whole life depending on it. This is the middle class's second silent habit. Working just to pay bills, not to build freedom. You wake up, face traffic, punch the clock, deliver results. And at the end of the month, all your effort turns into money that comes in and goes out almost the same day. And so you continue, repeating the same cycle for years. But here's an uncomfortable question. If you stopped working today, how long could you live off what you've already built? If the answer is a few months, or worse, not even 1 month, then your work is not building freedom. It's just maintaining survival. Those who work only for money work forever. Those who work with vision build assets that work for them. And you don't need to be rich to start. You need awareness. A practical example: a middle-class person with a fixed salary, a paid-off car, a seemingly stable life, but who never invested an alternative income source. They confuse stability with security, and that's a fatal mistake, because stability is an illusion. The company can cut jobs. The economy can collapse. Health can fail. And when the paycheck stops, the whole structure falls apart. Now, the elite thinks differently. They don't work just for money. They work to free time, to create independent income, to plant seeds that grow even while they sleep. The difference between those who survive and those who prosper is not effort. It's intention. So stop for a moment and ask yourself, what are you building with your work? A comfortable prison. Or a way out? In the next habit, you'll understand how the need for approval is costing your freedom, and worse, making you poor without you realizing it. The middle class learned a dangerous lesson. It's better to look good than to be good. This is the third habit that keeps you poor. Going into debt to sustain an image, not reality. You buy trendy clothes, the latest phone, travel on installments, change cars to not fall behind. But behind the beautiful feed and everything's fine talk, there's a bank account in the red, a maxed out credit card, and a tight heart. And do you know why? Because there's an invisible pressure to look like someone you often aren't yet. The middle class lives a silent race of comparison. You can't have less than the neighbor. You can't look like a failure in front of family. You can't accept that you need to step back to grow. And that's the poison. You buy what you don't need, with money you don't have, to impress people who don't care. And the system loves it. It wants you to go into debt to keep status, because as long as you're in debt, you're trapped, submissive, fragile, controllable. Meanwhile, know what the rich do. They wear simple clothes, drive discreet cars, but have investments that pay their bills for decades. They don't have to prove anything to anyone, because while the middle class fights for symbols, they build real security. Want a harsh example? There are people paying $600 a month on a financed car, but who never invested $100 in a finance course. There are people with credit card debt, but spending $80 on wine to keep up the standard. And then I ask you, how many choices have you made to please others while distancing yourself from yourself? If you want freedom, you need the courage to disappoint others so you don't fail yourself. And that starts by cutting the excess, ignoring the showcase, and finally living your truth, not others' expectations. In the next habit, we'll talk about something that seems small, but is the dividing line between those who grow and those who repeat failures. Investing in knowledge. Here's one of the most dangerous habits, because it doesn't hurt immediately, but costs dearly over time. Not investing in transformative knowledge. The middle class learned to spend on entertainment, but not on growth. Spend $60 on dinner, but thinks a $20 course is expensive. Subscribes to 3 streaming services, but never read a book about money. Changes phone every year, but never stop to learn how to make money work for them. And do you know why? Because we were conditioned to associate spending with immediate pleasure, and to avoid any investment that doesn't have quick and visible returns. But knowledge is the only investment no one can take from you. And more. It's the only one that truly changes your destiny. Think about it. How much did you spend on your last trip, last concert, or impulse buy? Now answer honestly. How much have you invested in the last 12 months to learn to manage money? To create income? To break the cycle? The truth is, knowledge hurts first. It demands focus, effort, humility. But ignorance hurts later, with interest, stress, frustration, and lost time. And here's a fact to open your eyes. Most people who went bankrupt in life, it wasn't due to lack of income. It was bad decisions. And bad decisions come from lack of clarity, from lack of preparation. Meanwhile, those who prosper invest before they need to. They study while everything seems fine. They prepare before the crisis. They make decisions based on awareness, not impulse. So the question isn't, how much does a course, mentor, book, or spreadsheet cost? The real question is, how much does it cost to keep not knowing what you need to know? Those who want to change their lives need to change their information. And in the next habit, you'll discover why relying on a single source of income might be the biggest mistake of your life, even if it seems stable today. If everything you have comes from one place, then everything you built is standing on one leg. And sooner or later, this structure will shake. This is the fifth and last middle-class habit that keeps you trapped, relying exclusively on a single source of income for a long time. This was sold as security. Working for one company for 20 or 30 years, having stability, health insurance, and a fixed salary. But the world has changed, and what was once stability today is vulnerability, because one dismissal, an economic crisis, a family illness, or an accident can make everything fall apart. And what happens when this only source dries up? You panic. Burn your savings, go into debt, delay bills, and lose what took years to build in just months. Now look at the contrast. Those who have multiple sources of income, even if small, breathe easier. An online sale, an investment paying off, extra consulting, a rental coming in. It's not about being rich. It's about not being a hostage. And most importantly, you don't need to quit everything and become an entrepreneur overnight, but you do need to start thinking like someone who builds, not just someone who consumes. Think assets. Think passive income. Think alternatives, because the middle class was trained to obey orders, follow a routine, and depend on a paycheck. But those who prosper learn to create paths, to multiply possibilities. You can keep trusting a system that gives you a paycheck, or start building your own. A system where money works for you, where you don't have to ask for time off to live. And maybe now you're asking yourself, okay, I got all this, but now what? What do I do with this information? That's the right question. Because now is the time for real change. You'll decide if you want to keep repeating the same cycle, or take real action to turn things around. And what sets apart those who truly change? Conscious choice. You can keep living on installments, stuck in the job that consumes your time, in debt to keep appearances, ignoring your growth, and relying on a single income source. Or you can choose to act differently. Acting differently means thinking about building assets, not just spending. Seeking transformative knowledge, not just distraction. Creating multiple income sources that grow over time and give you security. It's not easy. It will demand discipline, courage, and focus. But the reward? Financial freedom, peace of mind, and the real chance to build the life you deserve. And the best part, you don't have to do it alone. Seeking help, learning from those who've been there, using tested methods makes all the difference. If you're ready to take that step, I invite you to keep going with me. If this video moved you, leave a comment. I'm breaking the cycle. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any content that will transform your relationship with money. And if you want to take the next step now, check the link in the description. There's a practical path waiting for you, made for those who want fast and real change. Let's go together.